Hola, hello, bienvenidos. As you guys can see from the title, one of you guys had this idea, but I already had it in mind. You guys must have been reading in my notebook because I have jotted down of quite a few of ideas that I wanted to do. And this was one of them, you guys. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I did my favorite fall palettes of this year. I did 5 of them this year. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder where my other fall favorite palettes are. Do they still exist in my collection? Do I still use them? Do I still love them? Are they on the fence to be getting rid of into a new home? Did that make any sense? Are they on the fence to be gone, to leave, to get decluttered? I don't know. I have my pile here, you guys. I am actually going to look at 2 years because 1 year was only 5 palettes. 1 year I did 10 or 8, I believe. So I didn't feel like just doing 5 and then the other. So we're going to combine 2019 and 2020's fall favorite palettes. That's what we're going to do today, and we're going to see if these still exist or don't exist. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But first, if you're new, Alejandra, I go by Alex, eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash brush Japan. If that is something you want to continue to see on your feed, subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with my list of palettes. All right, you guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. Looking at these lists, I have 2019 and 2020, which was 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 palettes in 2020. Oh, no, it was 10 palettes. So 10 palettes. So a total of 15 palettes between 2019 and 2020. I have recommended to you guys, shared with you guys that are some of my fall favorites that I like to reach for in the fall. It's sad to say that I don't remember some of these. I don't even remember what some of these look like. That's so sad. All right, you guys. So I'm going to start out with 2019. There was 5 palettes that I recommended to you guys. So I'm going to fish through these, set them up so then we can go ahead and go through them. Okay, so let's start out with the first one. The first one I recommended was Silhouette Boutique's caramel palette. I still have it and still enjoy it till this day. This is a beautiful palette. I really like this transitioning from fall to winter. This is when I really like this one. There are palettes in here that I feel like are very good for the summer to fall. This one's good for the fall to winter. But yeah, it's still here. Still love it. Quality still great on it. Still would recommend it. I don't know if they're still available. I know that she is redoing her whole brand. Like, she's still staying with Silhouette Boutiques, but I know she was coming out with new things. She's doing trade shows and things of that nature. So she hasn't released anything new recently, but she is still speaking with me. You know, we're still talking and things. So I know that she has something in the works. I just don't know when and what it is exactly. So I don't know if it's still on the website, but I will link it if it is. The next one was this one, the Colored Raine Safari palette. This is still like one of my favorite palettes. I love this palette, you guys. I love this palette. It hurt me when I was watching declutter videos, and this one, I don't know who it was. It's just I randomly Google them on YouTube and like, oh, I want to see a declutter video to get me in the hype to declutter more and not to buy. So I'm watching it and she goes, oh, this one's old. I'm just going to get rid of it. I still love it, but it's old. And I'm like, I only get rid of palettes truly if they really don't like them anymore or they have gone bad. Other than that, I'm sticking with you. And this is one that I'm sticking with till the end. I love it and still would recommend that one as well. Then it was this Juvia's Place Tribe, you guys. Everyone loves this palette. I don't need to say too much about it. It's still a relevant palette as well. It's still one that gets talked about. It's still one that gets showcased on videos. So yeah. Still there and still would recommend. The next one that I have is one that is not available anymore. And believe it or not, with my recent declutter that I did, this one still is one that I love. That still my heart skips a beat for. And this is the Beach Cosmetic Royal Affair one. This is one of their last ones that they released before they started doing the square pans and they had circle pans. Great, great quality. I think that this might be one of my top favorite cooler toned palettes. I really, really do like it. I got rid of quite a few cool tone palettes that just were not jiving with me. I'm like, you know what? They had really pretty like shifting shades in them, but that wasn't enough for me to keep. This one, there is nothing special about this palette. There is no shifting shades. There is no glittery top or none of that. It is your simple type of palette, but I think the color story is just So, so good. So well put together, and the quality is really good. So yeah, I still would recommend it. You can't get it anymore, but if you do have it, it's still one that I would recommend, and I still love and I still reach for. Really, I'm actually wanting to hit pan on that palette. It's just these palettes right here, I still think about. This is the thing, like all the palettes that I'm sharing with you guys today, I still think about when the fall time comes. I really do think about them. It's not something where I just showcase to you guys on camera and that's the end of that. No, I really do think about them. There was a fifth palette. It is no longer in my collection. It was the NYX Rustic Antique palette. I think I know which one it is. I can't really think about it in my brain. I'll put a picture up on the screen. You guys, this is why it got decluttered, because I don't even remember what it looks like. I don't remember liking it that much. These I still think about without having to pull them out of my drawers, without having to look in my drawers. When I think of fall, these all pop in my head. This one, it might be a square pan one, maybe a 6 pan, maybe a 9 pan. I can't remember. But this is the reason why it's no longer in my collection, because I would have never reached for it anyway. It's not one that's on my radar to pull out in the fall time. Not anymore, at least. Not anymore. There has been other ones that have taken its place, and that's why that one has left my collection, because I was not reaching for it. So out of the 5, I still have 4, and I still recommend the 4, and I still use the 4 that I have, which is awesome. That to me tells me that I am getting my money's worth, and I am still using and loving what I have, even though I do have quite a bit of eyeshadow palette. Okay, let's move on to 2020. As we all know, 2020 was the year where we were living in our homes forever and ever. So we had a lot more time to play with makeup. So obviously, I had 10 palettes to share with you guys and not just 5, which is very interesting. Very interesting, this list. All right, you guys, let's start out with the first 2 that I shared. Was 2 5 pans from Natasha Denona. Yes, I still love these. I still love these. My goodness, these are such staple in my collection, because I am not somebody who reaches for mattes, full-blown matte palettes, but when it comes to a color story, specific color story, give it all to me, and this quality is really good. This is the Sassy Siennas. Still love it. Reminds me of pumpkins. Add a green eyeliner to it. Love it. And then this is the other one, which is the Blushing Berries. Look how beautiful. This is cranberries. These are like that fall picking with a nice boots and hats kind of thing. It's so beautiful. Really, really like it. And it does have a black, so if I want to tone, you know, get it more sultry, I can do that. And this is all mattes as well. Love it. Love these. They came out with new ones this year, and I'm still thinking about getting them. It's been a while, you guys. It's been a while since they released them, and I'm still considering, because I really do love Dose of Colors formula. Then I shared with you guys this one, the Maybelline Nudes of New York. Again, I did a declutter of my eyeshadow palettes recently, and I got rid of quite a bit of my drugstore, because I figured they were the same. They were the color stories I would use in the summer, but I don't use them in the summer because they don't last for me in the summer. It's only in the winter I can use them. And this is something that I love. This is an everyday, you want color, but you don't want it to be so bright, but you also want your neutrals. This is it. And the quality of this is so, so good. Love this. You can see that it is well loved. I really do like this palette a lot, a lot. And it shows it. It shows it. This isn't a palette that's just barely used. It gets used a lot. And when I think about my drugstore palettes, I have a very, very small curated collection when it comes to drugstore. I think I may have 10 or less palettes of the drugstore, and this is my top one. Love it. Still would recommend. Still would recommend. This one, Ace Beauté Flare. I showcased this palette in a recent video of palettes that I'm considering decluttering. And it's not because of the color story, it is more of the formula. I have gone back and used it, and I have decided to keep it. I can work with it, and it's not so much trouble for me to keep it. There are other ones that I've gotten rid of because I just could not be bothered. This one, the formula it's good enough where I can change my technique of doing my eye looks and still come out with a beautiful look and don't feel like it's a lot of work. So if you can get it in the new formula, because I heard it's 100 times better, yes. This is a very, very distinctive and unique color story in my collection when it comes to palettes. There's not another palette that I have that has this specific kind of color story and vibrancy that this one has. It's really, really pretty. So I still love it. as far as the color story, and I have used it recently, so it is staying in my collection. Other ones in that video have left. If you guys want an update on that video, let me know. Then I shared with you guys the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Edition. This is the actual original one, not the newer one that she came out with that had no longer the textured shadows up here, which I feel like is relevant. That's what we want now. Now we complain when we don't get texture and it's just plain Jane kind of shadows. This is beautiful. I haven't reached for it again this year, this round, but I am. Fall has just started, you guys. I'm just getting to the tip of the iceberg. Because I got rid of so many palettes, I can now concentrate more on palettes that I wanted to, and this is one of them. I do like it. I still do like it. I still feel like it's relevant. I don't know if her newer version is out still. Did she retire this palette? I'm not sure. But not, I'm saying just the rose gold. Not obviously this one is retired and she has a new version of it, but I still would. It's really, really pretty. I know some people complain that her formula does go bad. And yeah, I actually have had that issue with another palette of hers. So it's sad that, yeah, her formulas don't last that long. So get use out of them because I've realized that recently in other palettes. All right, next one that we have is this one. Gimme Glow the Vintage Rose. This one is unique because it doesn't have your oranges, but it still gives you your greens and that grungy gold and that burgundy, and it gives you a little bit of a pop of peach and that pink. So it's like a spring, not spring, summer into fall kind of vibes. It's beautiful, and I love the formula of Give Me Glow. I think it's great. You guys can clearly see this has been used and loved. Really, really like it, and I still would recommend it. Still in my collection, obviously, so I still really enjoy it. All right. Oh my goodness, I love this palette so much, and I'm always, I mean, when I think of fall, this is one of my top 5 palettes I'm always thinking of. I gotta pull that one out. I gotta pull that one out. I want to use that one. I want to use that one. I actually was tempted to use this one today, but I'm still working on other palettes that I recently brought in my collection to play around with. But Sample Beauty, the jewel tone one, oh my goodness, this is the perfection. Oh, I love this palette so much. I really, really do. Color story is amazing. This is the palette that got me into realizing these super shot kind of shadows. Like this is one of the first palettes that I ran into that, and then I tried Beauty Bay, and then ColourPop is doing it. So a lot of other brands are doing this kind of like squishy type of formula, but honestly this was like the first palette I tried that in, and I feel like that holds a special place. And obviously some of these are hit or misses, like this blue was a miss, this orange was a miss, but all these other shades, oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. Really still like this palette. I don't think it's available anymore, but if you could find a color story like it, I'm sure it's just gorgeous. Really, really love that one, and still love it till this day. And if you can get it, I would recommend it. Pull it out. It's beautiful. Now, the last 3 are no longer in my collection. First off was the Morphe 35M. You guys saw that I did film a pre to the big large one that I did video, and I showcased this one. That was a formula. I love the color story, but that was a formula I was not wanting to play with and finicky. Like this one I've kept because I could still mess with the formula and still get a wonderful look out of it. That one, as much as I tried to apply things, as much as I tried to build things up, the quality was just not there for me to fuss with it. So I did get rid of that one, and I don't regret it. But I do miss that color story, even though I'm trying to figure out which one of that is the closest that I have in my collection. The other one I showcased was the Ace Beauté Vintage Dawn palette. I also got rid of that one. The color story was beautiful, but I felt like it was too much for me, and I never reached for it. As much as I liked it, it never was something that I thought about for the fall time. Some of the colors were a little bit too patchy for me to play with, and for it to be so vibrant, it didn't have colors that I could use that would tone down the look as far as transitional shades that made me want to reach for that palette. It was a beautiful palette, but it wasn't something I was excited to reach for, so I did get rid of that one. Last but not least was the Essence Beautiful palette. This was a beautiful palette. Quality was up there for a drugstore palette. Part of me regrets getting rid of it, but part of me does not, because that color story was so redundant in my collection that I realized I'm reaching for other formulas and other brands that had better quality and ones that I really liked more over this one. There was nothing wrong with this palette, and if it wasn't for me having so many eyeshadow palettes, I would have kept that one. But again, the color story was not unique enough for me to keep it, and I was just reaching for other palettes more with the same color story because I like the quality more, and that's the reason why I got rid of that one. All right, guys, so out of the 10, I got rid of 3. In total, out of 15 palettes, 4 are no longer in my collection, and I still have 11, and I still think about these. I'm still reaching for these. That says something. That says something about the favorite videos that I'm sharing with you guys, because I really do like the things that I'm sharing with you guys. I'm not just sharing with you guys just to make a video and following the trend. I really do like all of these, and it just reminds me of how much I enjoy them. I'm going to be reaching for them. I'm going to love them. Fall is just here. It just started about a week and a half ago for us. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. You're going to see these popping in my Instagram. I always post my daily looks of what I am wearing on my eyes every single day, so you guys know what I'm wearing and what I'm showcasing, so you guys know that I am using these palettes. I will link these down in the description box if these are still available. Let me know which fall palettes are still standing the test of time for you guys in the comment section. I love to know, because obviously I'm trying not to buy more and bring in more and use what I have because it's still relevant to this day. I'm just shopping my stash to make it feel new for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.